Greetings, all. Tonight we're going after the Elephant Trunk Nebula. Now, the Elephant Trunk Nebula sits out in the constellation of Cepheus. It's an emission nebula that's it's also got some dark nebula in it. You'll see that in the picture, but it's contained in a much wider molecular cloud called IC 1396. But we're just going to zoom in and get that part of 1396 that's called the Elephant Trunk Nebula. Now, I have filmed this object before, and before I used my big old 8-inch scope, and I got zoomed in really good on the elephant trunk, so you can see it, just the elephant trunk part of it. But tonight we're shooting the same area, but I'm going to use a wide field scope tonight, and we're going to get the whole complex. So in the last picture, it was zoomed in on the Elephant Trunk Nebula, but in this one, it's going to look kind of like a donut, like a lot of those other emission nebulas. And you'll just see the elephant trunk is just one little part of it up in there. But anyhow, you'll see that. Also, out at the edge of the Elephant Trunk Nebula is a big old star called the Garnet Star. And we're going to make sure that we frame up the Elephant Trunk Nebula tonight so that we get the Garnet Star in the picture. Now, the Garnet Star is one of the largest stars in the universe that we know about. It shines about 100,000 times brighter than the sun, and its actual radius is about 1,000 times larger than our sun. If you put the Garnet Star in our solar system right where the sun sets, it would expand all the way out to the edge of Jupiter. That's how big it is. That's a big old star. But anyhow, it will feature in our picture when we're done. We'll make sure we frame up to get that Garnet Star in there. Now, you may have noticed the tarp when we first got started here. I brought my equipment out to film the intro for this video, and just while I was getting set up, it started raining. So I had to cover my equipment up with a tarp, but it's quit raining now, so don't worry. Now, we're not going to shoot the elephant trunk with the Z103, which is what you see setting up here. I've got to go ahead and swap out telescopes. Tonight, we're going to do the elephant trunk with the Z61 to get a wider field view of what the Z103 will give you. Come over here and I'll show it to you. This is the Z61, the William Optics Z61 APO doublet that we'll be using. A couple things, you see it's got I've got the fill flattener on it with an adjuster right here, so I can adjust distance between the glass and my camera sensor. And also I just need to loosen this little set screw, and then I can rotate the entire image train right here. So that makes this pretty convenient to use. So I'm just going to swap the Z103 out with this. The Z61 has a 61 millimeter aperture here. That gives me a nice a wide field. And of course, if I unscrew the cap on the lens cover, you can see it's got the built-in Batinov mask. Now, when I put this on the mount, that big old mount right here, it was not really built to handle a small scope like this. So when I put it as far forward as it will go in the mount, it can't achieve balance and declination. So I had to put this weight on the end out here so I could get enough weight out here on the scope to get it balanced in declination. But that's why the weight's on here. Come on back over here. Now when I put this telescope on the mount, all I need to do is unscrew it from right here, right there where the off-axis guider screws into the fill flattener. I'll unscrew it right here, and then I'll just screw it right onto here. So it's very simple to swap these telescopes out. All right, it's swapped out and ready to go. Now all I have to do is balance it. And of course, after I swapped it out, I'm going to have some focus issues, both with the main scope and the guide scope. But it'll be pretty easy to work through those. So balancing it, fixing the focus issues, I have to change the focal length in the plate solving software, and we're ready to go. That's how hard it is to swap it out. I forgot one thing. I got to put my dew heaters on here. Here in Central Florida with the high humidity, if I don't put the dew heaters on here, I'll be shut down because dew will dew over my lens very quickly. But the dew heaters I put on here will prevent that. I'll show you how I do that. All right, look down in there. You see the glass in there? And I can tell that the glass comes to about right here now. So this is where the glass is, about an inch in front of this gold ring. So, and this is with the scope retracted, and I leave it in that position so it doesn't move while I'm shooting. So I'll put my dew heaters on right here, just about 1 inch in front of this glass ring, so it goes on right where the glass meets the barrel of the scope. All right, you got all 4 dew heaters on there, and this is typically sufficient to keep me dew free. But if I have a dew emergency, I don't recommend this, but again, in an emergency, I have the trusty old anti-dew machine. All right, here we are set up, ready to get going on the Elephant Trunk Nebula. This will be night 1. Let me show you where that's at. I'm sitting out here on my pool deck. You can see it's 7:48 local time. It just got good and dark. I just got polar aligned, and we're ready to get things going now. Here's Polaris. North meridian comes up like this. And right here where I've got the marker set, that's the Elephant Trunk Nebula. So you can see it's close to the meridian. It may be another half an hour or so, and it's going to cross the meridian. But we may get a few picture or two on it before it does that. But let me show you what it looks like. If we zoom in here on the Elephant Trunk Nebula, you see it right there. There it is. And if you look at the alignment that I've got, well, we've got the Z61 set up, no fill flat, we got a fill flattener, but no focal reducer. And right now the camera rotation is 270. I'm going to see what it looks like at 249, because later on tonight we're going to switch over to the Flaming Star Nebula and then over to probably the Seagull Nebula. And I've been shooting those at rotation of 249. And since this takes up almost the whole field of view, I think that may be okay for the Elephant Trunk Nebula. Let's see what it looks like. All right, there's 249 right there. And let's see, there's our center of frame. So yeah, I think this is going to do just fine. We'll use 249 camera rotation, and then we won't have to change the camera when we swing over to the Seagull Nebula and the Flaming Star. So here's how we'll set it up. You see the marker that I put here, and the way I did it out here, I'll put a marker over here somewhere. You just go shift, click. It puts a marker. Now you can select that marker and you can get the right ascension, declination, altitude, all of the info off of an otherwise empty piece in the sky. To get rid of it, shift right click and it goes away. So I put the marker there where I want the center of the frame to be. And that's going to be our program, getting going on that. So let's make that happen. We use a Garnet Star for our focus synchronization and PhD2 calibration. All right, there it is. I'm going to tell it go there, go there. And there it goes. You can hear it going. It's heading off towards the Garnet Star. And there it is, right there in the middle. All right, so I'm going to go put the bat knob mask on, get in focus, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, there we are, focused. You can see how the central spike here splits that X exactly in the middle. That is focus. So that part is done now. Take the bat knob mask off, and before I forget, I'm going to get off of live view. If you try to plate solve on live view, it's probably going to choke your camera up. You got to start over. I've done that before. Not doing it this time though. All right, we're focused, we're synced. Now I need to calibrate guiding. So I'm betting there's going to be a star we can use here. There's a bunch of stars we can use. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. That looks like a nice one. And we're going to calibrate, and I'll be right back with you when that calibration is done. All right, we're guiding. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the guiding right now because we're on the Garnet Star. We're not on target. I'm going to stop our guiding, and now I'm going to give PhD 2 over to Nina. So now Nina has control of PhD 2. All right, so let's get over on the target now. Go back to our marker 1 and click on it. There we go. So we're going to import those coordinates. Since it already did it once, it's already there, so it doesn't take very long. You can see right there the Elephant Trunk Nebula. Right there. All right, so we're going to go replace as sequence. And I'm not going to get the sequence going right now because I want to do a plate solve on this target to make sure that our camera rotation is exactly at 249. So we're not going to start guiding. We are going to slew to the target, center the target, and we'll take one picture. Let's see, I want to use the luminance filter. And then we'll go from there. Here we go. Now remember, it's on the Garnet Star, which is really close, right down here. So it doesn't have very far to move to get up there to our center of target. All right, so it plate solved, it realized it's not there. That's okay. It made a small correction. It's going to settle, then it's going to take another picture. You see it going right there. Now it's going to do another plate solve and see if it got it right this time. And I'm guessing that it probably did. Yes, it did get it right. We can look up here at the error and 0. So we're on target. Took a picture. And let's go look at the picture. That's the picture it took on the Elephant Trunk Nebula. Now let's plate solve this and see our camera orientation. I think this is accurate, so it's probably going to be 245. So just watch it here. Yeah, 245.6. That's not good. I want it to be at 249. So I'm going to try to rotate it 3.5 degrees to the right to get it right at 249. All right, I rotated the camera. Let's plate solve and let's see if this number right here doesn't turn into 249. There's a plate solve. Watch it. 249. How about that? How about that? I usually don't get it on the first try, but I'll take it. All right. For our sequence, we are now on the Elephant Trunk Nebula. So let me go and get my film sequence set up, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I've got an image plan set up here. We're doing 10-minute exposures. You can see here 10 minutes, and we're going to do HA03S2, an hour each, and we're just going to repeat that. Now notice I'm only doing half an hour on the last round because this is going to finish up at 03:30. And that is about the time that the Seagull Nebula is going to come up. So we're just going to run this plan, and when it finishes, we'll go to the Seagull Nebula. Now I'm not going to put the Seagull Nebula here. Actually, I think I will. I've already saved a plan for the Seagull Nebula. Let's call it up right here. Okay, so here's my Seagull Nebula. HA, this will take us to 7:30. That's more than enough. It's going to get too light around 6:45 or 6:50. This will take us all through the night right here. All right, I do want to start guiding when we get there. I do want to slow to the target, and I do want to center the target. We've already checked the camera rotation, and this is the camera rotation that's going to be good for the follow-on Seagull. So we're ready to go. So unless I mess something up, as soon as I click start sequence, it's going to do another plate solve just to make sure it's in the right spot. And assuming it is, it's going to start guiding and it's going to start taking some pictures. So here we go. So there you see it's going. We're at 10, 11, 12 seconds out of 600. So we're off and running now on the Elephant Trunk Nebula. All right, a couple things while we're waiting on our first HA image to come back. I have previously shot the Elephant Trunk using my Celestron 8 SE, zoomed way in on it. And in fact, I'll show it to you. Here's my previous picture of the Elephant Trunk. And of course you can tell I processed this in SHO, or the Hubble palette. I don't know that we're going to process the one we're taking tonight in the Hubble palette. I might process it in a traditional color palette. But regardless, this is the picture that I took before, the really zoomed in one. So that's why I made sure on the sequence to note that this is my Z61 image. And again, let me go back and show you what that's going to look like. Okay, so here's how we're zoomed up tonight. So take note of the Elephant Trunk here. It takes up almost the entire field of view. Now using the Z61, here it is right down here. Zoom in and look at that. So you see, this is about how I was framed using the Celestron. And this is the part that we got right here. You see, we're at a much wider angle. So we're going to get this whole complex tonight. All right, we're going to have some trouble tonight. Let me show you why. I'm pointed up into the sky. And you see that stuff that looks like rain? Well, it almost is. That's humidity. Right now my humidity is like 99%. But later on tonight, it's supposed to hit 100%. So working with some humidity. The camera's looking through all of this fog and stuff. And I'll promise you, my dew heaters are working overtime right now. I've got 4 dew heaters on there. And I can tell already it's going to be a struggle to keep the dew off of my lens. But hopefully those 4 dew heaters will get it done. But I have to keep an eye on it. So my guiding is going to be probably suspect. I think we're going to still get good pictures, but they're not going to come without trial. All right, I missed the first image coming in because I was talking about dew heaters and stuff, but here it is. Let's take a look. I can already see this is good. I like this. Here is the Elephant Trunk. If we zoom in, you see it right there. The Elephant Trunk. And then, of course, we got the whole complex. So a lot of signal here. A lot of signal. I'm happy with this. The guiding is not great, but I think it's adequate. It looks like I've got round stars. And that's all I need to have is round stars. So far, so good. Just keep an eye on that dew. Make sure the lens doesn't fog up. And we might be good to go. So I will be back with you when we get some O3 and S2 frames to look at. All right, we're getting ready for our first O3 frame to come in. Let's compare it with our HA. Things to look for when it does come in. Here's the Elephant Trunk right here. You're going to want to look for that. And then also look for the clumps of dust here, here, and over here, basically in all 4 corners. And then, of course, this nebulosity It looks basically like a donut. So we'll look for that nebulosity in these clumps of dust when the 03 frame comes in, see what it looks like. All right, here it comes. First 03 frame. Let's watch it come in. And there it is. I don't, kind of like I suspected. Not a lot of signal, but when you zoom in, you can see some of these dust lanes here. All right, so that's our 03. And after we stack these, it's definitely going to have enough to contribute to the image. So I'm okay with this. I'm going to let it run. I will come back and take a look when the first S2 frame comes in. I've been keeping an eye on that dew, and so far the dew heaters are keeping up. There's no dew on the lens, but I'll have to keep an eye on that the rest of the night. So we'll be back when the first S2 frame comes in. All right. Yeah, here's a look at our last S2 frame that just came in. We're working on 3 of 6 now. I don't see a lot here. I can see some dust lanes through here. Now a little around the sides. I don't see much of the nebulosity. I can see a lot of the dust in here though. And I don't even think there's as much as there was 03. But regardless, when we stack this up, when I zoom this in, you can see the darker spots here, which is the dust. But we'll definitely get some contribution. It just remains to be seen. Do I want to process this in the Hubble palette, or am I going to go with something more traditional? But we'll figure that out. As far as the fog, it is pretty foggy out here right now. I'm a little concerned about the vertical visibility. It doesn't seem to be affecting our pictures too much. Guiding is having to work a little bit, looking through the fog and stuff, but it's still giving us round stars. So as long as it keeps doing that, then I'll keep on going. That's it for now, and I may come back and give you some updates if anything happens on night 2 or 3. But if not, and the fog doesn't shut us down, then I will see you at the end.